And where were they from? Do you remember?
Mama came from Chittister, Arkansas. You bat your eye, you threw it. Daddy came from Monk's Corner, South Carolina. You might not know those names, but I've heard them all my life.
Right. What
Yes.
was the cheddar saw?
Chittister, Arkansas.
Cheddarster,
It's
Arkansas.
just a little town from Little Rock, Arkansas. Just a
Okay.
little
Have
ways
you
from
visited there?
Oh, yeah, been there many times. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Growing up?
Growing up,
Did your
been to church.
grandparents live there?
Yes.
So when you went back to visit your grandparents, um, was it a really wonderful childhood experience?
Oh, we had good times in Chittister, Arkansas. Also in Monk's Corner, South Carolina.
Really?
We had some really nice times, yeah.
How did your parents meet? That's a curious.
You know what, I'm not sure, but I think, well, Daddy, from what I understand, when he came from Monk's Corner, South Carolina, they had to send him from down there. My grandfather, which is Thomas Washington in Monk's Corner, they sent Daddy away because you know what, it was 14 of them. They like to fight, all those guys did. So he sent Daddy to Ohio.
Okay.
When my father came to Ohio, he went to Sandusky, Ohio, but then he moved to Cleveland. That's how all of us are here. Every brother and sister that he had followed him to Cleveland, Ohio.
Is that right?
Daddy was born 1919, and Mom was born 1921.
1921.
And the reason I'm here today in this house is because of him.
No kidding.
Because every one of his children, which was 7 of us, Daddy gave us all down payments for our houses. And that's why I'm still in this house, which is almost 40 years later, because of what Daddy did to help us to pull things together. You know, they did a lot for us. I had good parents.
That's outstanding.
And 496 on 105, where Bracknell is. That's where Daddy brought all his relatives, and they lived there in the house with us.
Did they?
And I can name them one by one. Everybody, when Daddy, he worked construction. You know, this movie called The Help. My mother used to work for the Tom Simich and Son. They're still today.
Work for who?
Tom Simich and Son Construction Company.
Okay.
Mama was like the help. She was there raising their children plus raising us. Then when my mother, she's a smart woman, shorter than me, guess what she did?
What?
The more she got educated, she went to the Board of Education, got more education, then she went to University Hospital. And that's where she retired from.
Is that right?
So you see, and Daddy worked construction all of our lives.
Good employment.
Good money, big time. But all those guys that came from Monk's Corner, came from Arkansas. Daddy got them all working in construction or whatever they worked in. They came to 496, which is our house on 105, first. And then they all branched out with their own families. And some of them, a lot of them are still in the city right now.
What a story.
Mama's gone, Daddy's gone, but guess what? We're still here, carrying on.
You're carrying on
Still carrying on.
the family tradition.
Yeah.
What is your occupation then?
You will not believe. I work for General Motors.
Okay.
Or when I graduated, I went to this other companies called, I think it was kind of a laundry company like, but I didn't stay there long. And then I went to General Electric. Those Generals been good to me. I went to General Electric. And after I left General Electric, I went to General Motors. And General Motors, I stayed there for 30 years. I got 30 years in General Motors, and I wasn't old enough to come out, but I told my son, he said, "Ma, you're not old enough." I said, "Boy, yes, I am." I came on out.
Did you?
Came on out after 30 years. I came on out. But guess what? I came out because I was not tired of being. I still be with people at General Motors. I still do with them. They still help me with the dinners. You know, we do every Thanksgiving. My bosses come in. I got bosses that come in from come from everywhere to help me still do Thanksgiving.
Tell me about Thanksgiving. I don't.
Oh, you don't know about Thanksgiving?
No.
On Thanksgiving, here's what I do. Been doing it for the past, I guess, 20-something years. Right here in this house. What I do is I cook. So I cook about 7, 8 turkeys every Thanksgiving. The turkeys come in like they got wings. You wouldn't believe how they come in here. People, Martha, don't leave me out. Don't leave me out. This for you is stacked with food. We do 100 dinners every Thanksgiving. And I don't leave this house. But I also cook Thanksgiving dinner for here at this house also. And I do the dinners that we have. We pack 100 dinners, and people come from Thompson, Ohio. I got my girlfriend, my best girlfriend, Nancy. She comes from Thompson, Ohio. My girlfriend, Barbara Jean, she's here in East Cleveland. And people come from all over to help me get all 100 of those dinners out. My bosses come in from General Motors. My bosses come in, and they help.
And they help too?
Every year, those guys walk up in here like you, like they own the place, you know.
No kidding.
Unbelievable. And we do 100 dinners. But guess what? You see SUVs pulling up from everywhere. The Glenville area, my brother's just turned 25. On 105 in St. Clair, where Bratton is, where I grew up at, we send 10 dinners down there. I have 85, 86-year-olds. You know what they tell me? Don't cook, because baby sis my nickname. I had to put that name in there.
Okay.
Baby sis brings Thanksgiving dinner to everybody. I send them to everybody over there. Every year I send those dinners, and those guys look forward to it. He said, baby sis going to feed us for Thanksgiving, you know, so I'm grateful. And Daddy has a rooming household. He had houses that he had over. My brother said them are there now. Washington's Auto Body. Those guys come and they come in here and get the dinners. Then I send dinners to families. I send 5 here, 10 here, 4 here, this here, that. But guess what? And even the East Cleveland police help me. My guys come and help me.
They do?
Kathy. Oh yeah, remember Kathy, the policewoman Kathy? I loved her so much.
I heard about her.
Kathy would come here. I miss her too. She would come here, pick up dinners, and she'd come back. She said, I found 2 more people that were on the street or something or doing. She would come find some more people and take more dinners. She'd take dinners. Then she'd come back last and say, you know, I think I found everybody that need food. And she would help us do that. Help us do just certain things that people talk about people and say things, but you don't know the core of it, you know.
Right.
That people really help and really do. And you should see the policemen that we done. We did things for the school once. Helped the police do the one at the school. We did it through the theater. And all the children in the school, all those policemen, what they did, they collected all that food. And Kathy went downtown to the farmer's market and went everywhere. We had about maybe 100 turkeys gathered from, I don't know where those turkeys came from, but they sure got here.
Really? People donate them
Donate
because
the
they
stuff.
know. How do you cook all of that, Miss Mack?
Well, you see what I got in the kitchen in there. I thank God for that. You know what? People thought I pulled a whole kitchen out and had that stove drug in here. They had to take that stove all the way around the inside and take a door down to get that stove in this house, that Garland stove. And I fed thousands off of that stove. When I say thousands, you wouldn't believe. You know, downtown on Lakeside, where the 300 men are downtown, I cooked much food off of it and took it down there. The city mission took stuff. Just took stuff everywhere. You know what God put in my heart? Let me know what food does to bring people together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, food. You'd be surprised. I'm gonna tell this story. You could be at Mama's house and everybody's mad at each other, and it's the holiday time. Guess what them family members will do? They won't show off at Big Mama's house. They're gonna come there and eat and be real nice. Now, when they get out their door, they might do something, but guess what? That food works.
Well, I see the long table in your dining room.
Yes, it brings everybody together. Everyone that come, these guys come here, and they, oh my God, they fix platters for you. Be surprised, but I enjoy. You know, like on Thanksgiving, after we feed from 11 o'clock to 1. All the dinners are stacked up on this table, and on this table we stack 100 dinners here. And I set 2 tables up in the foyer. People come up to the door. All they tell me, I need 10, and I know who's coming to get them already.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I know how to issue this stuff out and how to make sure it gets to where it's supposed to. There's nothing to be sold. Nothing's to be sold at all. It's just to be given.
Right.
And even on the street here, I have Buckner down the street. He said, Miss Mack, he come down the street and get the food and take it to whoever needs it. I don't care who eats, you know. But guess what? We give the best to God's people. The best. We touch every box that goes out of here. Make sure that everything is put, even to the hand wipes, into everything that's in those boxes. First class.
Tell me, what is Miss Mack? Tell me about that.
He's missionary. Martha Ann Clifton.
So the missionary.
The missionary. That's what Mr. Parker tells me. He said, I see that missionary in you, especially when he see me come, when the children come.
Yes.
See, let me tell you something. What comes from the heart reaches the heart. And that's what I try to do them kids, those boys up there. Those boys. I started off with 5 boys at the Methodist church up there.
On Euclid.
On Euclid, Windermere Methodist Church. I started off with 5 boys, and now we have 52.
What was your intention with the 5 boys?
Here's what the 5 was. We played basketball. Pulling them out the streets, hooping. And guess what? You know what those boys told me? They came from one place to where we were. He said, Miss Mack, we're safe up here. Because see, under the umbrella up there, up under the umbrella of the church, they know I don't play. I got my soap on the rope. You know what that is.
No, what's that?
You cuss, you're going to have a problem out of me.
So you put the soap, make them put
No, they haven't seen the soap yet.
Oh.
But when I do this, I got my soap on the rope. My hand goes up. But guess what? Let them know. No cussing. Now you can hear them saying, and they be basket. And you know what I found out? Here's what I told God. I said, how am I going to pull all these children up here to play? They told me. They said, let the first 12 play. And whoever loses, then you put another set on, then another set, then another. And guess what? Everybody got the hoop. And they rooted each other on. They showed me how. So you see what I'm playing.
Wow.
And in the church, I thank God for Windermere Methodist Church, because he let me go up there with those boys on that state-of-the-art court free. It was going once every Wednesday. We're from Heritage Middle School.
Used to be Kurt, though, right?
It used to be Kurt, but it's Heritage now. Those boys come from school at 2:30 up there every day, and they till 5:30. I have to call grandmas and let them know that they're with me. But guess what? And sometime when they fed up there, the boys about 10 or 12 would stay with me and eat up there. And Miss Gloria would come down and say, you want to feed your boys? You want your boys to stay? You can stay to eat, because they feed up there. They would stay with me on Wednesday and eat. But then from 7:30 to 9 is when the older ones came up there. That's starting from ages 16 on up. And guess what? Those guys come faithfully. They were rough and tough. And here's what happened one day. When you have to go up steps to get, because it's on the upper court. I walk by, I'm smelling Black and Miles. I said, hold it, pump your brakes. All of you. Miss Mack, what's wrong? I said, if I smell Black and Miles on you again, you will not run this court anymore. Guess what? I never smelled another one. Never. And then, because they know I love them, he said, dang, Miss Mack. I said, not at all. And then the mothers, I have some mothers told me, she said, Miss Mack, my children obey you better than they do me.
Oh.
But you know what? This guy, you know what the kid said to me? He said, I don't believe you don't cuss, Miss Mack. I said, let me tell you. I said, a soft word spoken, and my look, and I have a look. Excuse me? When I say excuse me, you have a problem out of me. And guess what? They chill out. And they check each other. That's what I told him. He said, Miss Mack. He said, you, and then Travell Hart, he came up there. Mike Smelly came up there. He said, how can these guys, he saw the rough, man, these guys. I said, let me tell you something. You don't understand. Sometimes people, the children, all it takes is one person to love them. One person to let them know, you know what, it's going to be all right.
And these are the boys
in
that we talk about in East Cleveland that are rough, and
but
they
listen,
bring police in for them, and here you are handling.
Let me tell you something. Gloria, when she said, you better get outside to your boys, they won't even, so I go outside the church. I go, okay guys, what's up? Miss Mack, you can go. I said, well, hey, listen, we're not getting ready to mess up here now. You guys know better. You know better. They look at me and everything dispersed. Everything dispersed. So you see, I'm grateful to God for the respect. But I keep telling folk, my heart, what comes from the heart reaches the heart. And I'll tell you what I'm guilty about. Palmerdale. We were at Palmerdale helping the children. We did our big to do a General Motors for the kids, and we did another to do it another place out Palmerdale. But when I retired, I said, Lord, and I'm watching the kids in the neighborhood, and I'm doing stuff for them just a little bit. I said, Lord, this is crazy. And now I know why I retired so early. So
you started this after you retired?
After I left General Motors, I'm working 10, 12 hours, 6 days a week at General Motors, so but then but when I did stuff at Palmerdale, we took the time to do that. I took time off for this and time off for that. I took 3 days off one time to cook for that big thing we had at Palmerdale on my own, my vacation time. You see what I'm saying? But now I have the time for the children, for them. And you know what? Some people think that I don't care what they think.
Wow.
They don't see what I see.
Right. Miss Mack, where did all of this come from? Did this come from your mom and dad?
From you know what my mother used to do? Let me tell you what my grandmother used to do. They told me this here. She used to feed, like I feed at the hungry centers or the women's shelter. I didn't tell you about the shelter. I tell you about that about that little. They told me that my grandmother had a chuck wagon. Who has that? You know, I said my great grandmother. She had a wagon, and they said that she had a. Well, maybe I shouldn't say she had a pistol on her. So I said, what was that for? She would go and feed people and doing stuff to help people out. She would do. And my cousin, she's my second cousin, she said, baby sis, she said, you are not going to believe, girl, you just like your grandmother.
She was like a Harriet Tubman. Both of you are like
I
the Harriet
said,
Tubmans.
oh my gosh, she did that. But I didn't know that. But that was from Arkansas, in Chittister, Arkansas, she did that stuff. So you see, you'd be surprised at what goes along. And my mother did the same thing. Mama fed. Over there, where the garage is, that's where I used to feed when I was in Lordstown for 8 years. General Motors.
Oh, okay.
Every Wednesday I would come and feed those men every Wednesday right there. Would be tired as I don't know what, but I would get here and cook that food and come on. And my daddy was alive. Daddy was alive then. And Daddy said, he never called me girl. He said, gal. That's what he would still call me, gal. I said, oh my God. He said, gal, these men sure be hungry. Everybody would come. I didn't care if a moose came up in just so he didn't bite me. I didn't care who came, what came up in there. You know? Daddy said, girl, you feeding all the. I said, you know what? And then what he would do, he would sit right there and watch me feed. I said, you ready? He said, yeah, you can feed me now. After everybody done ate, he'd tell me. He'd just look at me and shake his head.
Wow.
But guess what? That was his building. He gave me that building. And I went in there and redid that building like we did up there at, Park. And we took all the cobwebs and the spider webs and took everything and got everything together and cleaned it up and did. And guess what happened? General Motors gave me all the tables. They go up and they gave me all those tables and all those chairs they put up in there. And I had some pews. I don't know where those pews came from. But guess what? I set those pews on the side.
Now, where was this located?
On 105 in St. Clair.
No kidding.
It's still there. The building is still there. My brother did not have, they put it as part of the car, their auto thing right now. My daddy gave me that building. I redid that, but that's where we did. And all the dinners that we had, I used to fix all those dinners over there. I would fix the food here, and Barbara would bring dressing, and Tanya would bring macaroni. What everybody's glitch was, that's what they would bring over there to the thing. And those people would come from far and wide. Then all of a sudden, as the people got older, they stopped coming, so we had to start taking food to them. So that's when they came back here. When I started taking in Ashtabula, I was with the Hunger Task Force there. With that Hunger Task Force, they would send me food from one time they sent me 40 turkeys. They sent hens, and I had this guy Gary, the one that did this house for me. They did put the siding and the windows and the stuff in this house. He said, Miss Mack, where'd you come from? I said, where you come from? You know what he did to me? He sent me, he had a job that day. He said, let me be a blessing to you. I said, Gary, what are you talking about? This is the man that was doing this house outside for me. You see what I'm saying? Putting my roof on and the porch and the this and the that. He was watching me do all. I had no idea he was watching me. And guess what he did? He sent a brand new Escalade. He had a job, but he sent his buddy with a brand new Escalade. And color means nothing to me. So he was up, color, I don't care if you poke it out. If God made you, I have no problem with you at all. And guess what? Sent me 30 turkeys. 30. In that brand new truck. He had his contract, but his men that he hired bring those turkeys to me and put them in that freezer. I cried for 2 days behind them turkeys. Wow. And then one time he sent me, you'd be surprised at what people did one time for Christmas. Here's what I did one Christmas. This is so simple. But guess what? Effective over there at the thing. Gary sent me 100 bags of candy. I said, I need Christmas candy. I had big bushels of apples and oranges. And what else? And I took all those apples and oranges and that candy, and I put them in Ziploc bags, and I put bowls up. And all those guys, and I put nuts in there. And those guys were like, wow, that's nice. Oh, baby sis. My nickname is baby sis. You can tell them in the hood over there. I said, baby sis, guess what? This one guy sat there crying. He's crying. I said, "What's wrong with you?" He said, "Basis, nobody never gave me a gift in 20 years. Just something that simple. You'd be surprised. It's just like I tell somebody, you don't have to give me a dozen roses. One rose would make me happy." Just so you thought about me.
Tell me about your church. Where this
Okay.
missionary? Because I'm
Missionary.
seeing missionary all through your life.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna tell you where missionaries started. When we were little, I had a wagon. I'm not gonna believe this here. I had a wagon. My baby Chucky. Mama would work. Mama was working all the time. I would put that boy in that wagon and put Mama's food in the wagon. I would take that wagon to my birth. She was 90, and go to her house and clean her house and feed her and put Mama's disinfectant and stuff in there, and would take that wagon and go clean her house and feed her. I had about 3 or 4 seniors in the neighborhood. Had no idea that God was using me then to be a blessing to people, and I've always helped. And I worked hard. And so when I'm still here, y'all, I work hard like that. Even at General Motors, I did for people. And I was a chaplain at General Motors.
Okay.
At General Motors Euclid, Dennis Barber, he was the plant manager there. And they gave me a room for the chaplain. I was the head chaplain there at General Motors. They gave me a room there. Well, missionaries been to me from a child, helping and doing. They gave me that room, put a piano in there for me. So you see, and this guy, John Baxter, says, "Martha, I've been trying 3 years to get him to put a piano. You did it in 3 days because he loved me." Dennis Barber, I'll never forget him.
That's wonderful.
He was at the plant manager at General Motors. Anything I asked him, he would do, because you know what? This is the God's truth, I never did nothing. This is the truth that I'm about to tell you, because I was trying to get something, I didn't care for nothing came to me for helping you or being a blessing or feeding somebody. I didn't care nothing about that. I bought shoes for children because, I told them people at General Motors, here's what I told them. I said, God did not bless us with this kind of money not to help someone or to be a blessing. And guess what? They listened to me. They helped me feed. They helped me buy shoes. We did a gospel. Here's what we did. Something that never happened in General Motors before. That Euclid plant, Dennis Barber let me have a gospel festival there. We had 400 people at that gospel festival, every nationality under the sun. You know what it costs to get in there? It costs you bringing canned foods. From the west side to the east side, we had people from all over this country, so to speak, that came to that gospel festival at General Motors. And he let me have that gospel festival there. It was 400 people, every national. We had country gospel, we had a western gospel, we had gospel, we had every kind you could think of was there. Oh my goodness! But guess what? Those big baskets, those 9x4 baskets, we had about 5 or 6 of them full. And then that following holiday, which was the holiday time, Christmas time. I think it was Christmas or Thanksgiving. It had to be Thanksgiving because we had to meet also. We pack of us. We stayed after work and packed all that food up and sent it all over the whole city, of the west side, the east, everywhere we could send that food, we did.
Outstanding.
That was before they started having the food banks and the different things. Maybe they had, but we wasn't that aware. But I can tell you what General Motors did that time. We did that.
Wow.
That was a lot of work. You know what I'm sitting here doing? Just remembering things that happened.
Yes.
Over the years
and so many good things
that I've forgotten about.
Tell us about your fondest memories. How did you choose East Cleveland to live here?
You know what happened? Let me go back to Daddy again. Daddy, when all 7 of us, when all of us bought our houses, when all of us were buying houses and doing, Daddy gave us all the down payments on our house. He was a good man. He gave us all the down payments. And when I chose East Cleveland, that was like a suburb 30, 40 years ago. It was mostly, white in the neighborhood. And that's not why I chose it. My real estate man back in the day, his name was Timothy Sebane. And my sister-in-law knew him. She said, and I worked at General Electric. She said, "Baby, it's time for you to get you a house." And then when I was married, before he worked at RTA, and it was CTS then. And gosh, that was years ago, years ago. But anyhow, what happened is we finally, we were young. When I got this house, I wasn't old enough to sign for it. I wasn't. I was young when we got this house. Sometimes I look at these kids like, man, they wasn't ain't done nothing. But I worked. I worked all my life. I worked, but I've always worked to the point where it didn't take me out of here. I'm still here. You see what I'm saying? I work, but this is how we got this house.
So what made you choose this community?
You know what? Because I love East. Listen, back in the day, this was the most. This place was it was immaculate. When I say that's why I still try to keep the outside together and keep things together and keep the street together, because I remember
Hold your hands down.
I remember how things were and what we did, how we took pride. I still take pride.
But this community, it was much different.
Oh my God!
What are your fondest memories about it?
You know, my fondest memory was when they picked up trash twice a week. When I forgot to pick it up forgot to put it out one day and took it another twice a week. When people were believing this, my brother said, "Girl, we ain't coming to East Cleveland, because them police don't play." And now I see the dignity and the respect coming back. That I remember used to be. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say people have come. Now the people on my street have been here the years that I've been here. I can name the families on this street that's been here all these years. Miss Tony down there, she's 85. Miss Johnson, 70-some. All of them are much older. Matter of fact, some of them might have children that are my age, or near my age. You understand what I remember them when they were young here 40 years ago. We were here, and I'm cutting grass. I could cut that grass so fast, you wouldn't. And we kept the yards up and kept things going, and kept,
What
kept
did
things
Euclid
running.
look like then?
Euclid was nice. It was nice, clean. All the buildings were up. Sometimes I cry when I go down Euclid. When I see the buildings in back, I see trash in front of people. Got businesses with trash in front of them. Why would you go there if you see trash in front of the building? Maybe I shouldn't say this on camera, but I'm speaking from my heart. I know what I see. This morning when I came on the street, I told them boys, they'd be out here. I did this morning when I got here 7 this morning. I took a bag and walked the street and picked up all the debris on the street. I love Knowles Avenue. I've raised my children, my grandchildren. When these people used to come here, I was a kid when I moved in here. And when the people come, your mother here? No, my mother's not here. I didn't lie. I own the house. My mother wasn't here. But you understand what I'm saying? I took that kind of pride. We would keep the streets clean. Even when the street was off, before we got the new street put in, we had the red bricks still. They were like, oh God, these bricks gonna run me nuts, trying to keep things clean and stuff. But people took pride. We had a lady down the street. Next door, when I first moved, there was a professor that lived next door. Mm-hmm. He worked at University Hospital. Then there was a lady down the street, I forget what her name is. She played the piano. But she died. When we moved, they were older people. Older folk, and she played the piano. She was a piano teacher. Bill Capps on the corner, I remember that. Bill Capps is still there, thank God. Some things are still here.
What has changed? What's the biggest change that you see?
The biggest change is to me, is people not caring as much as they should care to me. I take pride in my community. I take pride in our police and our fire, our mayor's office. You understand what I'm saying? You see a lot of things that's going on around. You see these kids half-stepping. You see stuff going on, people just don't care. You see people, I see drug dealers. I know them. I see it go from one extreme to the other. Now I see it getting back. I remember when we had the sheriffs here. The sheriff, I see the mayor. The mayor came in this living room.
What do you think contributed to those changes? Why do you think that?
I think, you know what I think? When people were younger, okay, my generation is still here. But then there's another generation coming up. I call it an untoward generation. A generation that, to me, they might care. Then they have, well, what's the use? But then that's when I step up and said, oh yeah, there's some use. There's some use. And they see me doing, when I was cleaning the street, all I wanted to get, Miss Mack, we did this. We're gonna pick up this trash. You understand what I'm saying? And then you know what? Precepts, they don't have examples anymore. But you are, I am. I'm an example because I care. Let me tell you what. I'm gonna tell you how I learned to make tea cakes. I would have never learned how to make tea cakes if Mama, that man said, come here, girl. Come in this kitchen. They didn't write a recipe down for me and hope I could hope for better. They did hands on. They took that pound of butter, they took that sugar, that eggs, and that nutmeg, whatever it took to make them tikka. And guess what? I can make them to this day. And what's that is 40 years later. I can still make them because they taught me how. If I don't show you how to do something, how will you learn? How will you learn? Even Jesus left examples for us.
Right. So would you say that has contributed to it? There hasn't been enough people to give those examples?
Not enough. Not when these children are asking me. Not when the children say, Miss Mack, you don't cuss. Who's cussing around? You know, when you're exposed to something, you get contaminated. I said, no. There's a better way. There's a better way for you to talk. There's a better way for you to dress. Pull them britches out. I don't want to see you. I don't want to see your underwear. I don't care if they're brand new. I don't want to see them. Get them britches out. You know, Miss Mack, you see them all, grab it, putting them up. Have a good day. You understand what I'm saying? So precept and example. And when I tell them stuff, I mean it. They know when I'm joking. My thing is, I will put you in a headlock. And all of them probably twice my size. They don't know if I do it or not.
Do you think racism has racism impacted you personally?
Not really, because you know what? If you know, you have to know. Well, no, I don't have to say no.
Okay.
The reason I said no, because I don't care who you are. Polka dot covers, to me, when I say polka dot, it covers a lot of territory. I don't care if you're red, yellow, black, or white. It doesn't matter to me, because guess what? I know how to approach people. I'm a people person.
Right.
I carried this title with pride. As being a missionary, I don't care. Even at General Motors, this one guy was cussing this girl and cussing her and saying, he was trying to belittle her, said, nobody loves you. She said, I beg to differ. She says, Martha loved me. And guess what? He had to shut up. You know why he shut up? Because he knew I loved him. They were both white. He backed up and then he came to me the next day. He said, I guess I went too far. I said, I guess you did. Yes, you did. So you understand what I'm saying? My best girlfriend for 40 years. She was at my wedding. Nancy, she's white. If you don't know any better, you think we have the same blood flowing through our bodies. That's how close we've been. And people don't understand it. And you know what? I don't care. I just don't care who you are. If God made you, I have no problem with you. The only thing that really gets on my nerves, when I see them children mistreated, when I even see these teenagers mistreated, you understand what I'm saying? And sometimes it's not a fault of their own. You don't know what they're up against. You don't know what incest is. You don't know what their mothers have done. You don't know what their fathers have done. Even their grandparents. You don't know what people have done. What kind of background have they come from?
Right.
And you know what? Sometimes people need out. That's why I'm glad up there that we have the gym up there for the boys to come to, and sit down. And you'd be surprised who come to me and they find me through a crowd and come and hug me. Come and find. They want everybody to know they personally. It's like it's so tickled,
That is wonderful.
Yeah.
Do you think these are just a few questions we need to ask about the city? Do you think that racism has impacted the city's growth in any way?
Yes. I tell you what. Now with the people that we have here now, I see more open forum. Is that the right proper word? They're more open now than what it used to be. I'm looking at the past.
The people or the administration?
The administration is what I'm talking about. 1, 2, 3. I saw the administrations before I see what's now. Okay, I see a more open forum, that's letting people of every nationality come in and do. I've seen more of that now than I've ever seen before. I'm watching. And see, but people don't understand how I watch. I watch in details. Brandon, I pray in details. I know who will and who won't, who do and who don't. I know who's a filibuster. I make it my business to know. I know who I need to go say, you need to chill out. Maybe you need to not do this here. Or maybe you need to so-and-so, so-and-so. You understand what I'm saying? No disrespect. I respect everybody when they age, in the age category. From this child, your granddaughter, to the higher up. You understand what I'm saying? That's why we was in a meeting one day, and I saw all the councilmen there. I said, this is the mayor. regardless of what he's done, there's a way to come at people. You understand what I'm saying? Don't disrespect. I have a line about this, about respect. I'm not gonna respect you and your problems, but you understand what I'm saying? I give you what I want back. But the higher ups, the one that's in authority, that's how I feel about President Barack Obama. Out of all the things, give him his props, because guess what? He's chief and commander right now. You understand what I'm saying? And people don't understand that. But I understand. I'm not talking about color. If this man is in a position, respect the position, if nothing else. You understand what I'm saying? Respect that. And I do. 100%. That's how come every plant in General Motors that I've ever been through, every plant manager, I can walk, Martha and Clifton, could walk in their office and they would, whatever I would ask them to do from my heart, they would do. That's the God's truth. The last one at Parma, we did that stuff for Parmadale. Bruce Pierce, that was our plant manager. When we did that stuff with them children that day, that man, he came side by side with me and help us feed them children. I cooked that day. I can tell you what I cooked. You wouldn't believe. It was 747 ears of corn. It was 10 pans of cheesy potatoes, 10 pans of string beans. I had 2,000 wings dropped. My friend dropped them in Warrensville for me of every kind. Took all that food right from this house and took it to Parma. I was over the food. I took off from work for 3 or 4 days to do that. But I'm saying all that to say there's got to give you favor with people.
You know, that kind of brings me to this question. It seems like this would not have impacted you, but the question is, how has inequality impacted you personally, and how has it impacted the city? Inequality.
Inequality.
Right.
That's a big word.
You've not experienced it in this city?
No, I haven't, personally.
Do you think the city has experienced it?
Oh, sure they have.
In which ways do you think it has?
It would be better.
Well, how do you think it has?
We would have more, you know what, I think that more businesses would have been here, and more I see now it's going up now. I see the new building in Circle East just went up. The one 70 Tubbs Jones building. When they took that hospital down, listen, the first brick that came down the hospital, I cried about that. And I came on home and I told God, I said, wow, what's up? When I saw this 70 Tubbs Jones building come up, I said, Martha, that's a no-brainer. So I said to myself, that's a no-brainer. Then I looked at it, now it's vast land, just land sitting there. And the memories and the children we took there and the people we took there. I mean, when Petey jumped over a bag I had here in the house, split his leg open. It was about 4 or 5 bad, jump over a building if he could, And it split his leg open. That fatty tissue came out of my baby's leg. I rushed him in Huron Road. They cut the fatty tissue out. I passed out. They sewed him up. He just looking, Mommy, what's wrong? So you see, my memories. That's the kind of memories we had. And things that was taken from us. Then I want to look at the things that come back. Next to them, they're building a building. I think she's named that. I think the mayor said it would be Brewer. Mildred Brewer building. I think that's the building he's going to name Mildred Brewer. I loved her. Yeah, I've seen the impact it's had on this city. I've seen, I see things that should have been, that should have, could have, would have been. Now what?
Do you think, were you here when it was...
Can we pause?
Yes. Okay, we took a brief pause, but we're talking about the inequality that we saw happen here. And my question was, were you here when it was a very integrated community?
Yes.
And
my neighbors were all white around me.
Were they?
Yes.
And did it change quickly? And what do you think?
No, it changed just a little at a time. Here a little, there a little, here a little, there a little. And we still have some people that left because they died. They just died. Mm-hmm. And some people, we still, I think 2 doors down, we still have the one white neighbor that's been there for years. Her mother was there and she was there generations, she never left. Mm-hmm. But you don't see her come outside that much, But then I know she when we have the block party, I go to everybody's side. Me, I go to everybody. She came, she pulled up and gave me money to help with the block party. She said, "This is a good thing you're doing."
Well,
You know.
well, so do you think the surrounding institutions have impacted East Cleveland? What about the surrounding institutions?
Like what?
Well, I guess what immediately comes to mind is the University Circle there, and maybe probably churches or General Electric.
Yeah.
But GE is part of
I'm
East
grateful
Cleveland.
that General Electric is still there.
Mm-hmm.
That's because when I go up Noble Road and I see GM still there, I said, okay, Lord, we
And
still
you
got.
worked there for a little while?
No, not that one. I worked at the one on Ivanhoe.
I see.
And I was there for some years. I think about 7, 8 years working there.
How was it?
Oh, it was good. I had a good time.
A lot of people from this community work there as well.
But I was 19, 20. That was years ago.
Yeah.
Years ago, So it was good working there. Because when I started working at General Motors, I was in 24, 25 years old when I started working there. That was in Euclid. Euclid plant at General Motors when I started working there.
Ms. Mack, the question is, how have surrounding institutions impacted the city of East Cleveland? So we see that University Circle is pushing this way.
It's coming this way.
Do you see that as a good thing?
That's a real good thing. If this community is to stay up and to make a comeback, like I see people that are really caring, trying to do. I see some people that do care, some that don't care, some that will care, and some that maybe they'll come on board to care. You understand what I'm saying? You see some people say, "What's the use?" You tell me what's the use, I'm backing away from you. You understand what I'm saying? Because what's the use? Why would you say what's the use? So why are you here then? When you're about, but what I'm saying, as long as we see that this is coming toward us, this good stuff, that's a blessing. Some people don't know what a blessing is.
Well, I think, and this is just a Nancy commentary, once we are solid in who we are as a community, with them coming can be a good thing, and you do contribute to that. So tell me a little bit about the Block Club and how you help to make this community a solid community.
You know what? I was telling Brandon on the street, when he was on the step there, when this street here, I love this street so much, and everybody know I do. They know I do. When the police asked me, Sergeant Robinson, and can't think of his other name, he's going to get me for that. I couldn't think of it, but I love them.
Come.
But you know what? I love them both. When I say I love them, because they've been here. They've been in this house. They've eaten with me. I've cooked. You understand what I'm saying? And what we did, they asked, I told them, let me feel the pulse of the people. Mr. Smith next door and my other neighbor down the street. I walked the street for 4 hours one Sunday. I walked the street for 4 hours. I sat on stoops. I sat in living rooms. I sat on porches. I sat on rocks. I just sat. And I had my paper and walked and walked and walked and felt the pulse of the people. I heard bad stories. I heard good stories. I heard all kinds. But guess what? It pulled the whole street together. And it pulled it together. We had the best block party you could imagine. I had so much food brought up in this house. This foyer almost couldn't hold it. Had the DJ. People gave the money. We sat right in this living room. This house was so packed you couldn't turn. For the neighbors being a part of the block party. Then we had some people that I wouldn't even call the names. They got on my nerves real bad. But anybody that knows me said, have a good day. You be like a duck or a sponge. You let it roll off your back or you soak it up. I choose to let it roll off my back and keep stepping. And guess what? We had one of the best block parties in this city. And we had the police here. They brought the big truck and brought school supplies for the children. We had the firemen come. They bought us smoke detectors. They bought us things to help. We set up tables for everybody. And we had all kind of stuff. And that block party, let me tell you something, that block party was just, listen, I didn't sleep for a week behind that thing.
So you had to, I think everybody
hard.
contributed because you personally touched everybody.
I went from didn't send a flyer out. Hope you come. Hope you be a part. I went and talked one person to person to person to person. I know everyone on the street knows me.
How do you handle the issues and the concerns that they have?
Here's how I handle. If it's something I can do something about, which is a lot of things that we have done about, like those guys outside with all them. We have some houses on the street where there's more people than there should be in them houses. One day I was going down out one evening. No, a friend of mine was leaving out. He said, "Miss Mack called." He said, "Miss Mack, guess what? We can't get off the street." I said, "What are you talking about?" I got in my car. I went down the street. I said, "I tell you what, y'all got 15 minutes to clear this street. I'll be back." And somebody said something smart, so I slammed my brake. And all of a sudden, you saw 10 of them guys in the back. "Don't get out. Please don't get out. We leaving. We leave." They left it. I left. Here's what I did. I got off the street. I rode all the way down Euclid. Went around the boulevard. It was late. I don't even know what time of night it was. I was that upset. And I came back. There was nobody on the street. The next day, I must have had 10 of them guys come to me. "Miss Mack, we sorry. We shouldn't have been out here." But I said, there are no children on this street hardly. All of us are old grandchildren. There's a few houses that have traffic. Well, why does the whole street have to be affected with that? You understand? The word is respect. This Scott across the street, she's taking care of a 92-year-old. Our 92-year-old that was on the street, and I loved it. We did stuff when she passed. No, the street club. Every time somebody passed, the street club is there. No matter what, we're there. I'm talking about food and consoling and anything we can do to be a blessing. We did a whole thing for this. Our 92. Yeah, this woman is out there. Her daughter was taken care of, which is in her 60s. Who wants to hear? I'm retired. How come I can't sit on my porch in peace? And then guess what? We have some people that go along with the stuff on the street. Older people. Why would you go along with garbage? And maybe I don't know. You know what? Listen. I don't care about them doing, but the word is respect. Just respect us. This time, you know what? One night, this is the God's truth. I worked at General Motors, still working. Next door here, there was so much noise, and I heard noise on the other porch. My bedroom is right here. I said, "Well, wait a minute." I couldn't sleep, and I had to get up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning to go to General Motors. I said, "You know what? I got my gown, my house coat on. I went out to that front door. I said, listen, shut it down. Shut it down. Shut everything down." I meant that. And all of a sudden you could hear everything just shut down and cut straight off. I didn't hear no more. And next door they were looking at me like, I don't care how people were looking at me. I did not care.
So Ms. Mack, you didn't have to call the police. You
No,
were the police.
I never do. You know what? Here's my belief. I always tell, a warning always comes before destruction. Warning. I warn them first. "Excuse me, y'all making too much noise." All you can hear, "Okay, Miss Mack. Okay, Miss Mack." And guess what? It'll quiet, it'll tone right down. And I know they're young folk. I was young. I know how we played now. I haven't forgot. You know, but come on. But we never disrespected, though. Never disrespected the older people. Once they was outside, wanted to go out there hollering. I went there, I said, it was 12 o'clock. I said, "Get in the house and go to bed right now."
I wanted to ask you about that. We haven't talked about your children.
I have Shalane, Petey, and Tyrone. All of them were, Tyrone, when we moved here, Tyrone was 3 years old when we moved here. And Shalane and Petey were born here. So y'all went through East Cleveland schools. Mm-hmm. And then they had preschool up there for Shalane. I remember years ago they had the good schooling. And this one teacher that lived in Cleveland Heights, the school, what Petey had special needs child. He had special education. And guess what? Because his sickness that he had to take the bus. They had a bus for him. That's what I miss about East. I don't know if they still do that now. They had a special bus that would pick him up. And you know what he would do? This is the guy I used to get him to. He would hide in the bushes till the bus leave. and walked to school with his buddies. Shalane came and said, "Mommy, he hid in the bushes again." And I didn't even know until they would come home and tell me. But what I liked about those three, they went through Prospect. Tyrone, he was 5 years old. I would take him to Prospect, and they went from Prospect. Tyrone never went to Superior. He went to Prospect. Then he went to Kurt, and then he went through Shaw. And Shalane went to Superior. Petey went to Superior. They went through the whole school system, and guess what? The school system was excellent to me. And this one teacher told me, she said, what they given your son, they gave Tyrone Petey that special thing, that special that he needed. The teacher, she let me think, she said, I'm teaching your son which I wish we could get in Shaker, but they didn't have it. Or Cleveland Heights, where she was, they didn't have it, but they had it here in East Cleveland. So you see, it was a lot of prominent good things here. I'm here by choice. I'm here by choice. I worked for John Mose. I made top dollar. I could have went anywhere in this country, but I'm still here. I'm still here. And now I see why I'm still here. Because you know what? My thing is, here's my prayer to God. Just bless me to be a blessing. Let me be a blessing. Sure, I have my good days in my bed. I have some days when I'll be like, oh, God, now what? Then all of a sudden I bounce right back. Okay, let's pull it together, you know? And even, oh, God, it's been a lot over the years. I've seen a lot. I've seen families, children get hurt out there. My big brother was here. One of the boys got hurt and cut a main artery. He did something I couldn't do. That boy stuck his hand in that boy's arm and stopped the artery. He would have bled to death right there. Accident. On the bike, my brother held that artery until the police came. It affected him for 2 weeks after that, but he held that baby's main artery. So you see what I'm saying? I've seen a lot of stuff happen. I've seen fights. I've seen this. I've seen it. But I walk, okay, y'all back. Okay. You know, we've seen a lot of stuff go on. And I've seen some neighbors some undesirables that kind of got on my nerves a little bit. But you know what? Prayer works. Prayer changes things. And I pray, I said, Lord, you see that? You see that? That's not right. That shouldn't be. Not that I'm not better than nobody. Only by the grace of God, it ain't me. You know, we used to have a lady down here, her husband was white. He would ride up and down, he'd get drunk. And ride up and down the street on his motorcycle and do stuff. You see, he was sweet as pie when he wasn't drinking. We've had all kind of stuff to go on. Then we had this girl across the street, they came from another part of town. Not knocking nowhere, because people live where they live. Not knocking, not saying we better than, no, that's not what I'm trying to say. But why are these kids out here 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning playing ball in the middle of the street? Who does that? Then eventually something happened and then, you know, just all kind of stuff going on. There was going on, and this stuff still going on. They think that this street is the hangout, but it's not.
And you keep it down.
Come on.
Miss Mack, what is your vision for the future of East Cleveland?
You know what? Here's my vision. I want to, you know what? It's a lot of seniors in East Cleveland. I guess I'm considered a senior, but I just, you know, but I'm grateful to God that, you know, I'm still here, you know. But my vision is where they can walk places, walk up there to the park, a walk place without being afraid, walk place without somebody trying to bother him or begging for something or asking something. And you know what? Listen, I'm not knocking anybody. But you know what? I keep telling somebody, if you're looking down somebody, if you're looking down, you need to be trying to help to pick them up. Not knocking anybody. Because I see about 5 people in this, like this one up there that say he's hungry. You know that man ain't hungry. Up there on Lee Road in Euclid. I'm hungry. You know what I said to him the other day? I said, you know what? I was serious. I said, God gonna get you. Yeah. Miss Matt. I said, God gonna get you because you know you're not hungry. Yes, I am. I said, no, you're not. You're not hungry. I looked down at his shoes. He ain't hungry. I look at the nice britches he got on. He is not hungry. I said, get off this corner, distracting folk. He looked at he said, dang, Miss Matt. That's what he said to me. So you see, I know hungry when I see it. And if he was hungry, I'd feed him. I would.
Yeah.
I'd take him dinner. I would. Now, and then I see other people that's walking The one guy I saw walking yesterday, he used to walk with this stick. You know who he is, Brandon. He walks with a stick, harmless, just walking. And you wonder. And you know it's only by the grace of God. It's not just to the one girl. She cuss all the time up in the shopping center. Everybody know what I'm talking about. Details is what I pay attention to. Then I watch her sometimes. She's not normal. And then we talk to the police about it. And they said take her up there. She's been in there how many times? And then to bring her back out, But you understand what I'm saying? But guess what? Takes all that to make a community. Got my attention.
Right.
Got everybody's attention around them. And guess what? That's just not in East Cleveland. Cleveland Heights got them. Shaker, you got people that are just wanderers and just do. And you watch the girl, the white lady that walks up and down Euclid. She has teddy bears in her arm. And the blankets that she carries, nobody bothers her. You know what I pray for her? God's protection around her. Lord, you keep her. Keep all of them that I see walking the streets. I see them Sunday morning. I tell you what, get up early Sunday morning and ride in East Cleveland and see who you see walking the street. Those same people that I just told you are the ones that's up early in the morning walking. Probably haven't slept all night. And then that's what I pray. Lord, you give them peace. Touch their minds. Give them direction. That's what I pray for. I pray for these children on the street supposed to be normal. I said, Lord, why they do that? What you do that for? They looking, Miss Mack. I said, oh, God, here they come again. We got one that talks real loud on
Tell
the
us
street.
what you call your group on the street. The
Oh,
kids.
my get along gang. My get along gang. They're my get along gang. They're like 3, 4, 5, 6. They're up to about age maybe 8 or 9. When this truck, Miss Mack, pulls on this street, about 10 of them run down this street. It's a little gully on the side of the house there. Miss Mack, we out of the way. They stand right there and wait for me. I got a cookie jar in here. And that cookie jar, they know that cookie jar is full. And I had to give everybody, but I give it to them here's how I'm training them guys. I give them to them with a napkin. Because I know they got them little old motley, dirty hands, I said, if I catch a napkin on the street, somebody's going to have a problem. You heard Miss Mack said, don't put no napkin on the street. Don't you try to put it in the car. They tell me that. So I said, but their fathers are watching me. All them, their fathers are watching me. When I see them, some of them call me mama. You'd be surprised if you call me mama on the street. It would shock you. Hey, mama.
And sometimes you tell me you had to give them cookies too.
Oh yeah, this one said, give me my cookies. I said, oh my God. So I give everybody cookies. I don't care. And even the ones that I done made, them cookies, I done put all that butter and all that stuff. I don't care. My babies, my get along gang. That's what they are. And my neighbors, oh God, here come your gang behind you. When I come, they run down the street. It would shock you as to how many run down the street to get them cookies. But I'm grateful that Petey was here one day. And my car was here, but I wasn't here. Petey said, Mom, that gang you guys, he said, Mom, I said, what are you talking about? He said, we know she in there. You got her in there. We know she in there. And Petey said he had to go to that jar. He said, Mom must have gave 10 kids cookies. I said, good for you. If I'm not here, give my babies them cookies. So they laughed. So you see. But guess what? I know how I discipline them. I wipe noses. I love them kids. I wipe snot noses and I love them. Tie shoes. I make them sit on a little stoop. Let me tie this shoe. You're going to fall. Or I don't tell them go home wipe your nose. I come in and wipe noses and wipe little motley faces, when but I give them stuff to teach them, And then I count out to them, let them count to me how many cookies, especially if they're little ones. Miss Mack, you don't have the big cookies. They want the big cookies. So you see, my get along gang.
Yeah. Miss Mack, do you? I'm enjoying this so much, but I want to talk just a little bit about the administration that you see and the changes for the city on a government level,
Okay.
or even in business. Is there something that you see
It's better than
that would make the community better?
That's something I see. You know what? I see more caring than I've ever seen before. I can drop names of people that I know in this community that really care, that care from here. Mm-hmm. So you know what? You can speak stuff from the mouth all day. means nothing, but if it comes from here, then I can see that. I can name some people. I don't know if I should name them or not, or maybe I can.
Yes.
The mayor,
Mhm.
Belinda Kyle, even our chief. I told him the other day, he might get me for this here, but you know what I told him? I said, come here. I said, I saw him do something. I was so proud of him. I said, I am godly proud of you, and I won't even tell you why. I didn't tell him why, but I was. He just looked at me and laughed, because he means that much to me. You understand what I'm saying? I watched him do stuff. And I see some things that I don't like in the force, that I've seen something the police do that are not up the par, should I say. I'm not knocking our police now, because I thank God for our police force. You understand what I'm saying? Even when I go to the fire departments, I went there one day, I need a basketballs, with the air put in them. And I went there, those guys tried their best to help me with the things to do that, just simple things, little things, Even when I went around to the police station, I was grateful for the community police that came here with the trucks and what things they did. Even the mayors, when I can go up there and talk to the mayor and talk to Belinda, them guys know me. And even the Chief Sparks, his secretary, I call them babies to me. They're children, not children, but you understand what I'm saying. I love them guys, and yes, I'll do whatever it takes to make things happen.
Right. That was the questions we are to ask you.
Whatever it takes to make things happen for the good. For the good. It's got to be for the good. I got to see something good come out of this. You understand what I'm saying? Something good's got to come out of this here. And I told them kids, I've seen people I've seen them die. I've seen them come. I've seen them go. Here's what I feel in my heart. I want to make a difference in this community. Up there where I am now, it's Snickerfest up there. And we got that restaurant up there. It's only one day a week. Only do it one day because that's what God gave me to do it. I'm retired. I put a couple more hours on, but not another day. I'm too old for that. My brother said, girl, you need to shut up, but listen. And then, girl, I said, listen, girl is not here no more. I'm not too young and not too old, but guess what? I know the difference. And now I have about maybe 10 or 15 regular customers. Miss Jen and her husband every Friday. Mr. Jackson every Friday. We call him the poet. Every Friday. Even Mr. Parker, he says, and I see a difference in him. You're going to get me for saying that on camera, but it's the truth. But you understand what I'm saying? A lot of other people that come up there every Friday. You know what she said? She lives in Shaker, Miss Jen. She says, you know what? It feels good to have a place this nice in the community. We first camped in there, I was like, oh my God, And I told Mr. Parker, I said, this got to happen, this got to happen, this got to come down, this got to come out. We went in there, I took 4 women. We went in there, we scrubbed chandeliers, we poured them apart, we cleaned them, we kept it up. Preventive maintenance, keeping up with stuff, you see what I'm saying? So when you come in there to eat, you can come into a clean environment, healthy environment, with the nice music going, and people, now we're getting better and better. My servers, I got my 4 regular, and to do, and serving there. Some days we have good days and we have bad, and it's in my pocket. But guess what? So be it. It's in my pocket.
Miss Mack, you've done a lot of good, and we really appreciate.
I'm grateful. Listen, I'm about to tell you. Only by the grace of God that I can see that I'm a part of. No, I'm the one that's blessed. Like I Brandon, you, and people around that I know. My grandson, 12 years old, said to me, he said, Grandma, he said, people see what you're doing. You know what's going on. I said, what are you talking about? He said, Grandma, you got haters. I said, what are haters? He said, Grandma, some people don't like what you. I said, who told you that? He said, Grandma, I'm watching. That's what he said to me. I said, boy, this boy got me in him. When I was thinking, he said, you got people that genuinely love you. And I love from my heart. I'm not trying to be something that I'm not. Listen, all you got to do is ask me. I've helped many of folk. I have some folk I'll never tell nobody that I help. This one lady told me one time, why are you helping him? his father's a bishop, his mother's something else. I said, but his mother's like that, but he's not. So hell, I feed him. You call me Brandon and say, I need a basket. What am I going to do to bring it to you? You understand what I'm saying? It's just things that I remember, even when you're, still I had to bring, even when your father passed. I told Mr. Parker, you didn't know me then like that. We would have come up in there and been a blessing. And that's how he found out, because I told him, I said, and that's when he had called Sheldon, your other brother. So you see, that's what we're about, community. Being a blessing. Listen, all there has to be is a need. And I don't care. And it comes out of my pocket. And guess what? Just listen, God will never let me outgive him. Because when I blessed the Lord, and guess what? He blessed me back. Then I can be another blessing to somebody else. You understand? Even these guys on the street. Listen, we supposed to get them shoes this week for them guys. I was so excited. I was about to scream. And I went up there to this other place out there where Gabriel Brothers is. Where the what's that called? What his exercise place is, fitness place. And so I went in there. I told my husband, who was out there getting something else. I said, let me go in here and see if they would donate some equipment for my boys up there at the gym. I need equipment for my boys up there at the gym. Here's what he told me. He said, I've only been here 2 years. I'm fairly new. He said, but Miss Mack, let me tell you something. If you bring your boys here, I got to get them bussed out there some kind of way. Then somebody told me 2 days ago how to get the buses for the children. I keep calling them children, but these are 18, 19, 20, 20. You understand what I'm saying? I want to be able to take those guys out there to that fitness place and bring them back. He told me he would charge me $5 a month for their for their tuition to come up in, whatever it's called, to come up in there for them boys to come. I said, it doesn't get any better than that. But they sell pop bottles, they can get $5 a month, up in there. And we got the shoes. You know what they gave me? I got that $4,680 something for shoes and jerseys. And guess what? They gave us the biggest grant. They gave me, for the children, the biggest grant out of all the grants that were given, to be a blessing to those children.
Was that the Neighborhood Connections?
And the Neighborhood Connections. But you know what I told them? Yeah, no. What I told them, some of them people, here's what happened. When I went up there, it was a whole panel of people. When I went up there and talked to those folks, I was like, oh, God. I took what me and Miss Scott had together. They said, Miss Mack, you've showed us something in black and white. Now show us something in color. So I flipped this Christmas thing out. What we did last Christmas, we had a big banquet for the boys. I cooked for 3 days for that banquet at the church. The church is just amazing up there, the Windermere Methodist Church. They let me have this banquet hall. We set up tables like they were kings. I said, you guys are being, boy, you talking about clean up, boy, them guys were dressed when they came up in there. And they said, Miss Mack, where we sit? I said, you sit anywhere. This is for you guys. Them guys could not believe that. Miss Scott, my neighbor across the street, we made certificates for those guys. Achievement awards for just being there. Them guys came, if you could have saw the faces of them guys. And we have pictures that we took of everybody, all the pictures that we took and pictures that we took of everybody. But listen, when I went to get that grant, I said, well, Lord, I asked God, here's what I prayed, Lord, give me favor. Oh, crybaby, hear me. Tears gonna come because I love them kids so much. I don't want to see them lost. So when I went in there, talked to them, and what I flipped up was the flyer was in red for the Christmas thing that we did for the children, for the big banquet we had for them. And gosh, when I flipped that red, them people did like this and looked at me. Then I started talking about what we did for them children, how we fed them and how we didn't. I used to see how them guys were dressed. Oh my God, it was too funny. And I said, wow. And some of the mothers did come and some didn't, some families did. But you know how it is. But guess what? They'll never forget that. They'll never forget. And then some of the mothers said, my children cuss in front of me. My kids, but they don't in front of you. Don't play that. I give them what I want back. You understand what I'm saying? And I do ears. Excuse me. What's up? So you see, but we love them children. I love them children, and my husband. When he married me, I was doing, and guess what? He backs me 100% on what I'm doing with the children. what I'm doing up there at the restaurant. That restaurant, you know what it is to me? It's like a, maybe this, no, one time. It's like a ministry to me, if you understand what I'm saying. And all that food that you see that's cooked up there, guess what? I grew up with it. With the hot water cornbread, the greens, the roasted chicken. My mother was a cook. My mother before her and my mother before her. You know, my grandma. You see, the generation. And guess what all the women did? They were blessings to people. Sometimes I have some of the guys come there, they got $5. Now you know I'm gonna feed them children, don't you? If they had $2, they had no dollars, I would feed them. Two guys up there, they came, Miss Mack, I don't have no money. I said, sit down and fill out what you're gonna eat. And I fixed them just like I figured they were paying $1 million to. You understand what I'm saying? And then they'll come back. And this one said to me, he said, Miss Mack, I do details on the cars. I do your car. I don't care. I cut grass. But they come and eat. You see what I'm saying? So I don't care. And Chilean looked at me. And this one lady, Carl, he works up there. He's up there with us every week. He said, I saw what you did. I said, what I do? I heard what you did. I said, how about that? And I keep walking. I want them, but you know what? They're aware of how I work and how I do. That kid come and say, you got $5. What do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to feed him. It's like when I come back the next time, I said, okay, I get paid, that's fine. And some, I don't care. And then Mr. Parker said, I see the missionary in you coming, and I said, oh. And I keep walking. So you see, I've told y'all some things that I done pulled up out of the archives, y'all. My stories.
Thank you so much for the stories.
And I love both of I love both of you guys. Brandon,
Thank you.
I love you both, and I'm grateful to be a part of whatever you're doing. But listen, here's the bottom line. When I even do my testimony in church, all I want to do is be a blessing. And Lord, let me live long enough to be a blessing and show them how to be a blessing. I told my children this story. I said, if I give you a fish, you eat for a day. But if I take you down the Lake Erie and show you how, you eat for a lifetime. That's how I do them boys out here in the street. And guess what? I got about 5 of them now that I know for a fact that are in college. I know about 3 or 4 that work at Cleveland Clinic now. You see what I'm saying? Some of them same boys I had up there hooping. And yeah, I love the hoop. I used to play basketball, short as I was. Love basketball. And I love LeBron James too, y'all. I thought I'd throw that in. But you understand what I'm saying? Messing with folks. But you understand what I'm saying? I thank God when I can see these guys come up and come out of homes that are so distraught and so messed up and so turned around. You know what my kids said to me? Lynn, Tyrone and Peter, they got me together. They said, Mom, I raised these guys right here in this house. Mom, I never brought anything. He said, Mom, we seen our friends with their parents and brought people in the house and the people and did this and did this and did this to them. He said, Mom, all these years of sacrifice you've made to raise them. And my grandsons were here with me. Nobody knew that. I was working at Lordstown. Had them grandsons. Sometimes I'd be so tired I couldn't hold my head up. But guess what? Took care of them boys. Because of life, circumstance. I won't go into details, but because of life and circumstance, I wound up with them grandsons right here. That's why they're so close to me, those kids are. Because you know what? I nurtured them, helped them. And all the kids on the street, these children next door, their mother told me, she said, I can't believe when you walk outside, these kids stop whatever they're doing. Because I love them, I nurture them, I help. And even the ones that's like we went to the funeral on the street, but Mills died. He's 39 years old, Damon Mills' brother. He died on the street. I was at the funeral last week. Had to be about maybe 10 of them that were stood around me. And I said, you know what? Death don't care how old you are. It don't care who your mama is, who your daddy is. It don't care. But you have to have yourself together. And they all looked at me, you're right. Some of them call me mama. Some of them call me Miss Clifton. Some call me Miss Mack. You're right. I said, you know what? All the men, they're in their 40, like Tyrone, they're all in their 39, 40, 41, 42, 43. Had to be 5 of them. Keith, Freddie, all those guys, Mike, all those guys stood around me at that funeral. When we stood outside, I was like, You know what? It's you guys have to get yourself together. Cause young at 39, that's young to die. That's young, but you understand what I'm saying. But then it takes us, older ones, to let them know. You get yourself together. You get things together where you don't have to go to change. You don't know what you don't. How do you know? How do I know? You don't know from one day to the next one. That's why I keep telling you, got to take one day at a time. Just see what you've been handling that one day, then it'll be all right. You know, try it. Are we almost done?
We're gonna cut for that.
Okay.
And we thank you.
And I thank you all. Listen, this has been I pulled up some stuff that, wow, it's amazing. I'm grateful to be a part of whatever you guys are. I'm grateful to be a part.
Thank you for your time. We love you too.
I love you guys.
We do love you.
It's amazing.
Blessing.
What a blessing.
Thank you.
Okay.
Go ahead. Tell us about the women's shelter.
Okay, the women's shelter is, we call it the apple. And the apple is you. You're the apple of God's eye, so what else matters? No matter how they've mistreated you or what they've taught you, how people have said to you, know God, you can look up and say, Lord, I know I'm your apple. And the Bible states of us being the apple of his eye. And the retreat is called the apple. God gave it to me about 7-8 years ago. General Motors. Our first apple retreat I had was over there in Parma at the UW Hall in Parma. They gave me that hall for an $800 hall. They gave it to me for $25, whatever it costs for the security. And we cooked and we did, and they bust the women in for me from the shelters. And now that I brought it to the inner city, which I brought it to the East Cleveland Community Theater, Miss Chucker let me have it there. And when we had it there, when we had that at the East Cleveland Community Theater, those people came, when they came in, the women came in, I got more there, because there was 5 shelters on Euclid. And then there one on Payne downtown. This Joy Lynn Billy, she's the head of all the shelters. She's my buddy. Many years. I done went down there and fed down there at the shelter. One year I missed the apple, but I took my staff down there. We fed the apple. The apple went down to them. So you see what I'm saying? What we do, we feed them, we encourage them, we give them gifts, we give them folders, we give them stuff. We make the folders, beautiful folders. I got a slew of them that we made. We made them, we put special apple things in there, and I put all kind of stuff in there to encourage the women. The thing is encouraging them.
Wow.
And so when we do that, General Motors helped me a lot. They helped me with that retreat. And now I brought it into our city, East Cleveland. And Miss Chucker let me have it there. They bust women in from every nationality under the sun. My staff of women. Oh, I tell you who I had. One of the police women came and gave her story. Miss Tucker, she's been married for 40-something years, gave her story about marriage. I talked to them about life. I know life. And I had women that came, and the police woman, I can't think of what her name is, but she gave her story. She said, I've been on both sides. I've been abused and been the abuser. But when she got finished telling her story, guess what? I had 5 women that said they were going to commit suicide. Wow. They were just going to give up. So I know God did this here. It just totally turned around. People don't understand that. They don't understand.
Wow.
What comes from the heart reaches the heart. And this mother cried. And then we had they brought, I tell you what, it was Columbus Day. We tried to have it on Columbus Day because the children come in. We had a setting over there for the children with the coloring books and crayons, just like your baby's doing here right now. Then we had the table set up with, listen, I cooked all that food, bring the best food. I made apple cakes. We had big bushes of apples around. We had gifts for them. We had everything. And guess what? Out of our pockets again. But guess what? I ain't missed a beat yet since we've had that. And
Wow.
grateful to God. But guess what? We've been able to save lives.
Yes.
To make people regroup and read the women. From the women's shelter. We had more pregnant. My girlfriend said, girl, I ain't seen this many pregnant women in years.
Right here in East Cleveland.
I did, yeah.
Wow,
Did this
that's
right
nice.
here. You didn't, no one knew that.
No, I didn't know that.
It's called the apple, and guess what? I'm gonna pull the apple off again. And I gotta talk to, I ain't gonna drop no names yet, but I'm gonna talk to, I know where I wanna have the retreat at this time. And we're gonna have it there.
Wow.
And then we're gonna pull the women, and they'll bring the women to you. They'll bring them.
Wow.
And when I go down to the shelters, the women know, they know my car. Miss Mack, Everybody know what car
Do you still work with the East Cleveland Theater?
Yeah. When they call me, when they need a usher, I need someone to do the money box and stuff. Oh, they call. They call. Yes, I love them up there. I know everybody up there. Bob, this,
That's
Oh
wonderful.
my God.
It seems like you would be able to get some funding from like maybe domestic violence or the county.
Brandon, I don't. You know what? I just. You know what?
I mean, I know you don't worry about that, but
you know, if it can, it would be a blessing. But you know what? I have so many people that want to help and be a blessing, and so they tell me, "Don't make me miss my blessing. Don't make me miss my blessing. Let me help do it." So I said, "Okay, and that's what we do.
And that's what you do. We're gonna stop the camera there.
That's what we do." Yeah.
Brandon,
yes,
push this to stop.
yes, that'll stop that.